Hi class, for this week's sixth discussion, I'm going to be talking about the functions of the hip joint. The hip joint is super important for everyday movements like walking, running, or even just standing around. It's one of the strongest and most stable joints in our body because of how it's built, using strong bones, tough ligaments, and big muscles all around it. The hip joint is also called acetibular femoral joint, and it works like a ball and socket joint. That means the top of the thigh bone, called the femur, fits into a round socket near the pelvis area. This lets the hip move in many directions. The hip is designed to support our body and weight, which is why it's so important for weight bearing and movement, also known as locomotion. One cool thing about the hip is how many different ways we can move it. It can move forward and backwards, which is called flexion and extension. It can move out to the side and back in, which is called abduction and adduction, and it could also twist inward and outward. That's internal and external rotation. These movements are what allow us to do things like walk, run, jump, and even play all different kinds of sports and physical activities. There are a lot of muscles that help the hip move. For example, the gluteus maximus is a strong muscle that helps us move the leg backward and rotate it. The gluteus medius helps lift the leg from side to side and keep the hip stable when we're walking or even just standing on one leg. If these muscles don't work well, like if you're sitting too much or just not moving around constantly, it can eventually lead to pain and different types of injuries when we're trying to move. That's why it's important for us to keep these muscles strong and active, especially if we're playing sports or if we just want to stay healthy in general as we get older. So to summarize, the hip joint has many different important jobs. It helps us move, hold up our body weight, and stay balanced. It's strong and flexible, and it plays a big part in almost everything we do in our everyday lives. Taking care of our hip joints by staying active and exercising consistently can help us avoid injuries and move better in our everyday life, especially as we're getting older. Thanks for listening to this week 6 discussion.